it's funny in society that everything seems to be kind of more geared around women's health. Women are more apt to talk about it, to be open with it. They're more apt to say, here's an issue, it's got to be fixed, or with the kids or whatever. But men really have a hard time taking self-responsibility for their own health, I feel.
But yes, I remember coming up, and I don't remember my father going to the doctor at all.
Wow.
You know, saying, oh, I need to go to the doctor or what have you.
Yeah.
But I remember him getting sick.
Yeah.
And he had a cyst on his lung that he didn't know about.
Right.
He had not. He was riding on a bike, I remember, and my father was in his like mid-30s or so.
Okay, pretty young.
Yes, in in the city, and he fell and went to the hospital, and they found a cyst on his lung.
Oh my goodness.
If he had some checkups or maybe went to the doctor,
right,
he probably would have found it. Even if people do go to the doctor year after year, sometimes they might not even still find
of course.
Just to go, what have you. But
Yeah.
anyway, he wound up staying in the hospital for 6 months.
6 months?
6 months in the hospital.
Holy mackerel.
And,
all because of this cyst that they found?
Yeah.
Now, was he experiencing any discomfort that you knew prior to the discovery of it?
No, not at all. He just
Okay.
actually just was riding the bike, and something happened.
Wow.
I don't know if it was on the street or not, but I remember, Dad had an accident on his bike, and he just hit something and whatever, and it shook some things up. Went to the hospital, and they're like, he's in the hospital.
Oh my goodness.
He had a lot of weight on him, and then I remember him coming out, and he was real thin from being in the hospital for so long. And so, but yes, I think men have a hard time going to the doctor.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think one of the major things you kind of pointed on was the fact that money issues. If you've got kids and you got a wife, I mean, you're going to give the money to the kids. You're going to make sure, because kids are always having issues, and even just with growing up, you have these maintenance sort of things and all that sort of stuff. So as a man, we do tend to put ourselves second, third, fourth, or fifth.
Yes.
Yeah.
And when was the last time you went to the doctor?
Well, honestly, I can't remember the last time I had a physical. The only time I go to a doctor is when there's an issue, there's something wrong. It's never been sort of like a maintenance and just make sure everything's cool and all the plumbing's working and all that stuff. Mm-hmm. But usually it's when something's wrong, and it usually is at the very last minute, because you have so many other responsibilities. Like, okay, well, this money needs to go to this money needs to go to that. I can't get off work. I mean, come on, not everybody lives in this ideal world that they can do everything. Yes. Just getting off of work is a hard thing sometimes for men and women both.
Yeah.
But yeah, I haven't had a regular sort of checkup or physical. It's like changing the oil in your car. You can wait till the engine breaks down and go, oh, okay, I didn't put enough oil in it, and now you have to pay up for all this stuff you didn't do. Or you can get your oil changed every 3,000 miles. Now, every man kind of knows that. Every woman knows. It's in our culture, every 3,000 miles or whatever it is. So why aren't we doing that with our bodies? Why are we taking more care of our cars? We're washing our cars every day. We're making sure we get the maintenance. We're changing all the filters and stuff like that.
Mowing the lawn outside of the house.
Right. We are so hell-bent on that.
Cleaning the house.
But when it comes to us, we don't want to. And it has been brought up many, many times before that. Every time we go to the doctor, as a person who is in their middle age or more, there's always something that's going to be an issue. And I think that's what men are afraid of. I think men don't like that issue, And there's so many different things that we have to watch out for that are uncomfortable to be checked, to be diagnosed, and all that sort of thing. So yeah, we've got a little bit of a, we don't like, we're a little gun shy. We're a little gun shy on that stuff. So guys, I think we just need to check ourselves up the best we can. Put some money to the side to kind of just keep on top of that. At least what you can do is every time you go to the drugstore, take your blood pressure, see if that's in line. If you feel funny, just check it out. And we have our WebMDs and all this internet resources. You can at least start there. And if it kind of doesn't feel right, especially if something doesn't feel right, just go check it out. And there are resources in this culture and in this country. All you have to do is do a little digging, and there's a way to make sure you get the best health care, take care of your body, because you'll be taking care of your kids, your spouses, and everybody involved. had the privilege of sitting down and chatting with Dr. Nicole Swiner, a family physician and the author of How to Avoid the Superwoman Complex. We talked in detail on the various issues dealing with the dynamics of men's health. Doc Swiner, welcome to the show. It is so great to have you here.
Hi.
One of the biggest questions that we've wanted to ask you for a while is, why are men so afraid to have like preventive doctor visits?
Mm-hmm. That's a great question.
Okay.
And I would ask you or ask your counterparts, why it seems like they're so afraid or a little bit more nervous than, say, generally women are.
Right.
It's probably because the fear of bad news.
Okay.
The fear of bad news.
Right.
And so, the old adage, if it ain't broke, don't fix it,
right.
seems to be more common with men than it does women.
Totally.
And I think maybe because women are a little bit more used to going, we go for our GYN checkups, we go when we're pregnant and have babies, and then we take the children to the doctor after they're born.
Right.
Men tend to need a little nudging, generally from the females in their family, to go and get checked out.
Right, and I think you're right, because we don't want bad news, and we feel that every time we do go to the doctor, either they're trying to, get more money from us. That's our first, that's our first priority, right? And secondly, something's going to go wrong. How do you think us men should take an approach to maybe what should be our first thing we should do?
Find a doc that you like.
Okay.
So maybe you'll be more likely to go and see that doctor on a regular basis if you actually feel like you have a relationship with them.
Right.
Some men, it seems like most men nowadays seem to connect more with a male provider.
Okay.
But that may not necessarily be the case. I have a lot of men that prefer to see a female doc or a provider, physician assistant, nurse practitioner, because of the maternal aspect.
Right, sure.
Or the more gentle approach in general.
Yes.
So find someone that you think you're going to bond with. So word of mouth, if your wife or your sister or your mom has a good doc and they think that you'd be a good match, then go and visit. It's okay to doctor shop a little bit.
Right.
If you don't feel comfortable with the person that you have been seeing or that your insurance says that you're supposed to see, find someone else. It's your prerogative.
Within that coverage.
Or if you end up paying out of pocket because you trust someone more, you've heard better things from, then go for it. But find someone that you have a rapport with.
Okay.
Because you want to be able to trust the person that is taking good care of you.
And be honest, and that's what I had this wonderful doctor. I'm from up north, and I had this wonderful doctor that I could tell him anything, and I had to tell him a lot of the real stuff. So, what is the biggest challenges that, say, a man in his middle age? What is his challenges? What should he be looking for, and how often should he be doing it?
Yeah. So I guess, all people, male or female, should be going at least once a year to get checked up.
Okay.
If you have a chronic condition, whether it be diabetes, high blood pressure, cholesterol, you're on a medicine, you should go in and get checked out a little bit more frequently, because you want, your doctor wants to make sure that you're keeping up with everything, wants to make sure that the medicines are treating you well and not giving you side effects or complications.
Right.
Wants to probably recheck some regular blood work, make sure that the medicine is working and not harming you.
Right.
And then just, while you're there, you can also follow up on some routine things, get your vaccines or talk about other acute issues that come up.
Right.
Versus having to rush to the emergency room or rush to an urgent care because you waited too long. So the most important thing is making sure you're getting caught up at least once a year for your preventative and routine checkups.
Okay.
Health-wise, particularly for middle-aged men, if you're over the age 40 or 50, we start talking more about your prostate and your colon health.
Okay.
So you don't want to wait too long, particularly if you have a family history that is significant for those types of cancers.
Okay.
You want to make sure that you're going and getting those checkups on a regular basis.
Right. That makes a lot of sense, because those have to be caught fairly early.
Yes.
And as far as the prostate goes, what actually, we all hear this, but what is going on? Tell us what's going on.
So there's a lot of controversy right now with prostate, prostate cancer screening in particular.
Okay.
So we used to, age 50, no matter what, or for African American men or men with higher family history or risk, usually at 40 or 45, we check the prostate with a rectal exam and we do blood work.
Right.
Nowadays, I would say probably within the last, don't quote me, about 5 to 7 years ago, there were studies that came out showing that is not the way that we should do. We actually should not be screening for prostate cancer at all.
Now, why?
Yes, so there's a lot of controversy. So prostate cancer in general is very slow growing.
Okay.
So even though you may catch it now, it may not turn into a huge issue until maybe 15 or 20 years later.
Okay.
And this is, this is all theoretical and depending on who you read and what you read.
Sure.
But the medical field generally feels that prostate cancer is a slow growing disease.
Wow.
Generally, the man ends up succumbing to something else prior to the prostate cancer being the issue or causing death.
Wow.
So that's number one. Number two, the screening tests that we have currently aren't the most accurate all the time.
Okay.
So PSA, which is prostate-specific antigen, is the blood level that we check in the blood.
Okay.
It can be elevated for other reasons other than cancer.
Right.
But of course, the scariest thought is cancer.
Right. Sure.
Once you find it, if it's abnormal, you have to follow it up. You're obligated, but it may not be cancer. So, don't have a great accurate test.
Okay.
Often biopsies come out being normal, so it was kind of unnecessary to begin with.
Right.
I think one of the main reasons why men avoid going to the doctor is because it's vulnerable. And it may be uncovering or revealing issues that we know are taking place. And we don't want someone else to tell us that, right? Because as a man, naturally, you kind of want to be seen as being strong, and nothing can really break us down. But going to the doctor at times, especially when you know there could be something wrong, you really don't want that revealed. I think one of the other reasons is that a lot of men aren't accustomed to maintenance of health. It's just kind of, if there is something wrong, let me just go. But the maintenance of health would avoid a lot of issues with men if we went on a consistent basis, get the prostate checked, get our diabetes, our blood pressure checked. If we would do that and just kind of maintenance, especially based off of family health track records, it would probably help a lot of the issues in the male side of things when it comes to overall health. I think lastly, it was seen as a sign of weakness. Sometimes I think going to the doctor and maintaining our health is a sign of weakness, because did I not keep a great physical standard with my own health and I need to go to the doctor? What's wrong with you? Why do you need to go to the doctor? So I think those kind of three things I would say that really kind of bucket why men may be a little skeptical about going to the doctor consistently.
Well, over the years, I've heard several excuses of why men don't want to go to the doctors. Number one, I believe, is because men really don't want to admit that they're sick. They don't want to admit that they're sick because men are strong. And as a man, sometimes when you admit that, you're sick or that you're not doing as well as you should be, sometimes it may be one of those things where you're not considered or the weaknesses there are considered. Also, men, I think, they are a little stubborn at times. And so unless they have someone in their lives, like a female, at times who will encourage them and inspire them to come in, then they often don't want to come. Sometimes men are a little distrustful, but I will say when they show up, they're usually happy. When they show up, they usually recognize that them showing up allowed them to get their health under control, to get them into the best that they can be, so that they can then go out and take care of everybody else.
So we have the prostate. What else are we looking at?
So the colon. The colon is the other major thing. Generally around age 50 is when we talk about colonoscopies and stool tests and all of that.
Right.
Earlier or sooner if you have a high family history rate of it. So you want to make sure that you're getting your checkups, whether it be, again, rectal exams, stool exams, or getting those colonoscopies done if you're due, not waiting too long. If you have symptoms that you're worried about, whether it be blood in the stool, black tarry stools, significant abdominal pain or changes in your bowel habits. You want to go and talk about it. Don't wait.
Now, why is there a significant rate, if you will? I say that unscientifically, but why is that? Why do we hear about this now, colon cancer and so forth?
Maybe because we have, as time goes on, we have more advanced ways to check for it. So we're finding it more frequently because we have better ways to find it now versus decades before. And then it may also have a lot to do with our diet. Unfortunately, the westernized diet is, not great for our bowels and low in fiber. And we're smoking and we're eating toxic things and, not the best diet.
And like you said, family history is important. But back in the day, people didn't really live as long as we do now.
Right.
I mean, I'm even thinking of my grandfather who passed away when he was in his 70s. A normal heart attack. He was shoveling snow when he should have. But he was a real man, you know. He's Scottish.
Real man.
Real man, shoveling snow. But I've noticed that since we're living a little longer, more symptoms are coming up. Is that just is how it is? Wow.
Yep. The longer we'll live, the more medical issues we'll have to find and treat.
And hopefully, the longer we live, we'll have more medical answers to it. Or
Hopefully.
Cool.
But the key is prevention.
Doc Swiner, in your book, The Superwoman Complex, a follow-up visit, that's your second book, you briefly talk about the Superman complex. Now, I want to know about that.
Well, so the Superwoman complex is defined as this notion that a woman has to be the perfect thing to all people.
Okay.
And then ultimately ends up neglecting herself, her health, her well-being, her mental health, etc.
Sure.
So the same is true for men. You know, there's this stereotypical notion that the man has to be the protector and the provider and the, you know, bringer home of the bacon and everything else.
Yeah.
So we need to also pay attention to the mental health, the physical health of our men.
Right.
And to make sure they're taken care of and we're giving them space to rest and get themselves back together so that they can continue to do those things.
Right, but a lot of us have grown up as men that if we do show any signs of weakness, you're weak.
Right.
Or you're not being a man.
Right.
You know, how many times, toughen up. And you still go
Man
to work
up.
when you, man up, thank you. And you're still going to work when you really shouldn't, and you're doing things that you really shouldn't.
That's right.
So how do we combat? How can we still be men and show a sensitive side to really being concerned about our bodies?
I feel like the tides are turning. I feel for good reason or bad. I feel like there have been more cases, particularly, if you pay attention to pop culture and what's going on with celebrities nowadays, there are a lot more men that are coming out and saying, yes, I suffered with this thing, this mental health disorder, this depression, this anxiety. I went to get treatment. I feel like it's becoming less taboo for all of us, particularly men, to say, I need help. So we need to make everyone, but particularly men, feel more comfortable to go to their doctor, to go to a counselor, to go to their minister, to talk about what's bothering them, to make it not seem soft if you ask for help and you need a break.
Yes. What are some of the things that we can do to open dialogue with people at work, with our wives, with our children? What are some ways?
I guess women, or the partners of the man of the house, or the person in your family that is the patriarch, is to ask. We should be more comfortable in asking, are you okay? How are things going? And then hopefully that person will be honest and say that, no, I'm tired, or I don't feel well, or I hate my job, or I hate my I hate my relationship, I need help with that. I think we have to be better with asking, and then hopefully that will make the man feel comfortable with sharing in an honest way.
Right, and that'll strengthen other parts of the relationship too as well.
Correct.
That's very powerful.
Yeah.
Well, Dr. Swiner, I want to thank you so much
Thank
for
you,
coming
Richard.
on today.
Of course.
And I'm sure we'll have plenty of talks in the future.
Hopefully.
And I'll be getting a lot of free advice from you.
I'm free.
Yeah. And, but thank you again, and we'll be talking to you soon. Doc Swiner, everybody.
Thank you. Thank you.
Wow, that was a great interview with Dr. Nicole Swiner. And if you enjoyed the interview and want to know more about her practice and her approach, I really encourage you to pick up 2 books. The first book is called How to Avoid the Superwoman Complex, and the second book is called The Superwoman Complex, a Follow-Up Visit. Now, this is a very common sense approach to preventive health and self-awareness. Now, if you want to be healthy, wealthy, and wise, I encourage you to pick up these 2 books today.
Stat reports say that 60% of our men in the U.S. do not go to the doctor. And in the last 5 to 10 years, they've been to the doctor only one time. That's amazing. Some of the reasons are they're busy, work 2 or 3 jobs, caring for their families. Sometimes they don't have enough money to go to the doctor or health insurance. Men are afraid to find out that something's wrong or something's there and they don't even want to even know. And then there are times where they're just ashamed, or they just don't like to go through the uncomfortable exam. You know what I'm talking about. Even though that's uncomfortable, but that's something that needs to be done for early detection. So women, whatever it takes to get these men out of the house, to go see the doctor, take a broom, beat them over the back, just get them out, get them to the doctor. Early detection is the key.
So do you feel that men take care of their bodies like they should at times?
I don't think men of my generation do.
Okay.
I think the younger generation are more tuned into their health issues.
Okay.
I think I tend to be like my father's generation, which is, it'll be fine, don't go to the doctor.
Right,
Rub some dirt on it.
Yes, rub some dirt. You just don't complain.
Yeah.
Yes,
Don't
yeah,
worry
yeah.
about it. Yeah.
Okay.
But I think the younger generation is a little bit better.
Why do you think that is?
Maybe they're leaving behind some of the stereotypes. As the generations go on, they tend to lose some of the stereotypes.
Right.
So I don't know.
In your family, did the men mostly take care of themselves? In your family in general?
In my family, no.
Okay.
And paid the price for it.
Right.
They waited too long to go to the doctor, and then they would have health problems.
Wow.
No, it's true. My dad, for years, didn't go to the doctor, and unfortunately now he has colon cancer.
Wow. And that's one you have to catch pretty early stage,
on,
prostate
yeah.
as well.
Yeah.
Wow. Yes.
It's something that, is kind of one of those embarrassing cancers for men.
Right.
So
Sure. They're very painful and debilitating.
Yeah,
Is he still alive?
Oh yeah, he's still alive, and he's in chemo right now. But,
Wow. So he's right in the thick of the battle
Yeah.
right now.
Yeah.
Wow. Sorry to
he
hear
had
that.
caught it earlier, and
Yeah.
done some other kind of preventative measures, and
Yeah.
My father was the same way. He had a heart attack in his late 40s.
Wow.
Smoked.
Yes.
Ate like not so good.
Right.
No exercise,
Right.
like we do today.
Yes. Yes.
So he did all the wrong things.
Right.
So it's not a surprise, but he's still alive.
Right. Now, has that motivated you in any way?
It has actually. I mean,
Okay.
a lot of the things I do now are to run from the bad health practices of my father, in a way.
Right.
Not to say, but he was a product of his generation.
Yes.
And we're a product of our generation.
Right. Very true.
So I don't, I don't pass judgment on it. I just say, hey, we need to do better.
Right. Right.
What are some fears that men have about going to the doctor?
The fear of finding out that they're sick. Something's wrong.
Yeah.
What is your motivation? Because most guys are kind of like, I'll just wait until something's wrong and then I'll go. What's sort of your motivation?
Yeah, I want to stay healthy.
Okay.
Not die.
Right. That's good enough for me.
What are some of the reasons why men don't go to the doctor?
Honestly, I don't go to the doctor, so there's that.
So when was the last time you've been to the doctor?
Gosh, I think it was when I had an appendectomy, like, 3 years ago.
Ouch.
And that was only because I toughed through it for 2 months before having to be admitted to the hospital.
Did you know what was wrong with you when you were
I thought I
that
had a
long?
stomach ulcer. So I
Okay,
thought I could
yeah,
just
no big
go
deal,
through it.
right?
Yeah, right?
Tough it out.
Like, one emergency, ride later.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow. So last time you saw your doctor was because there was definitely something wrong with you.
Yeah, I don't even have a family doctor or anything like that.
Right.
I think the reason why men don't go to the doctors until they're really sick or they wait a long time is because they're not as in touch with their bodies as women are.
Here's my things about men's health.
Okay.
Nobody wants to be poked and prodded, right?
Right.
Men's health is about being poked and prodded.
Okay.
Turn your head and cough, that's like your physical kind of thing.
Right.
Poke and prodded.
Yeah.
Turn that age 45, 50, nobody wants to do that.
Right. So why do you think women then, or do you feel that women are more maintenance minded than us guys? Because they get poked and prodded too, right?
Well, the women have the pap smear that
Right.
they got to do,
Yes.
right? To keep up their health plan.
Right.
But there's a schedule for that,
Okay.
and we all know what the schedule is, so we stick to the schedule.
Right.
Yeah,
So you guys are more efficient in your thing.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. Do you think guys wait too late until it's too late?
Until something is wrong?
Yeah.
So Yeah, I would think that guys get complacent, that they're kind of like, oh, I'm all right. I don't feel any bad. I haven't gained any weight.
Right.
Blood pressure's okay.
Yes.
I don't feel like I've done anything wrong. You know, I'm feeling good.
Right. I wanted to take this time to personally thank you for all the support and good tidings we've had over our program. And if you could take the time to like us on Facebook at Coffee and Cream TV, as well as check out our website at ReConnectLive.org, and we can stay connected. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time on Coffee and Cream.